The Green Goblin, deceased. Real name: 1. Norman Osborn. 2. Harold Harry Osborn. 3. Dr. Barton Bart Hamilton. Occupation: professional criminal. Also: 1. Owner and president of Osborn Industries, Inc. 2. Owner of Osborn Industries, Inc. 3. Psychiatrist. Identity: secret. Legal status: American citizen with no criminal record. Former aliases: none. Place of birth: 1. Hartford, Connecticut. 2. New York City. 3. Scarsdale, New York. Place of death: 1 and 3. New York City. Known survivors: 1. Harry Osborn, son. Group affiliation: 1. Former partner of the Crime Master. First appearance: 1. Amazing Spider-Man number 14. 2. As Harry, Amazing Spider-Man number 31. As Goblin, Amazing Spider-Man number 136. 3. As Hamilton, Amazing Spider-Man number 174. As Goblin, Amazing Spider-Man number 176. Final appearance: 1. Amazing Spider-Man number 122. 2. As Goblin, Amazing Spider-Man number 180. 3. Amazing Spider-Man number 180. History: Norman Osborn was the ruthless co-owner of a leading New York chemical manufacturing firm, which also had research divisions that dealt in other areas, including robotics. Osborn was obsessed with gaining increasing amounts of wealth and power, even by unethical means. When he discovered that his longtime partner, Professor Mendel Stromm, had taken a sum of money from the company for his personal use, Osborn seized the opportunity. Although he knew that Stromm intended to pay back the money, he had Stromm arrested and jailed for theft. With Stromm gone, Osborn began going through the notes on Stromm's private research. Osborn thus stumbled upon a formula that Stromm was developing with the intention of using it to increase a person's intelligence and physical strength. That night, Osborn tried to recreate the chemical from Stromm's notes. He watched as the solution turned green, and then it exploded. Osborn was hospitalized for weeks as surgeons labored round the clock to save his life. They did so, and Osborn was finally released. Only he knew that the chemical had indeed increased his intelligence dramatically, but what Osborn did not realize was that it had also driven him insane. He decided to become a costumed criminal and to use his increased intelligence to build upon his company's scientific devices and chemical discoveries and turn them into weapons. He designed a costume for himself, which he colored green after the solution, and named himself the Green Goblin. The Goblin decided to begin his criminal career by killing Spider-Man, who had only recently become a crime fighter. Having thus made a tremendous reputation for himself, the Goblin would then attempt to organize a worldwide crime syndicate with himself as the head. The Goblin first hired the criminal enforcers, and then, recalling Spider-Man's early ambitions in show business, contacted film producer B.J. Cosmos, born Cosmogian, of Cosmos Productions, a studio known for its low-budget adventure films. The Goblin was then able to approach Spider-Man with an offer from Cosmos to star in his own film. Both Spider-Man and B.J. Cosmos believed the Goblin to be simply another new costumed adventurer, and Spider-Man agreed to the deal in order to make money for his aunt. However, once out on location in the New Mexico desert, the Goblin and the enforcers attacked the unsuspecting Spider-Man. The attempt on Spider-Man's life failed, and the film was canceled. The Goblin next ambushed Spider-Man at a meeting of a Spider-Man fan club, but again failed to kill him. So the Goblin resumed his plans to become the head of his own crime syndicate. His first step was to intimidate the members of the Lucky Lobo gang into making him their leader. The Goblin again ran afoul of Spider-Man, and the police arrested Lucky Lobo's gang. Next, the Goblin entered a short-lived partnership with another masked criminal, the Crime Master, in order to organize all of the New York City area's independent crime gangs under their joint leadership, and thereby provide an effective counterforce to Magia domination of the area's crime. The Crime Master soon ended the partnership and made his bid to organize the gangs himself. The Goblin captured Spider-Man and brought his prisoner to the underworld meeting where the Crime Master hoped to be named leader of the independent gangs. The mobsters then decided to make the Goblin their leader, but withdrew the offer after Spider-Man broke free and he and the police began fighting the assembled gangsters. The Goblin escaped, and the Crime Master was killed by the police in a gun battle. The Goblin was now determined to destroy Spider-Man before making another try for underworld power. After exposing Spider-Man to a gas which temporarily weakened his spider sense, see Spider-Man, the Goblin was able to follow him undetected and learn his secret identity of Peter Parker. Then the Goblin easily captured Parker and brought him prisoner to one of his hideouts, where he boastfully revealed to him his true identity of Norman Osborn, the father of Parker's friend Harry. In the ensuing battle, the Goblin knocked live electrical wires into vials of chemicals which he fell against. The resulting shock blanked out Osborn's memory of the years during which he had been the Goblin. Deciding that Osborn should not be punished for actions he committed while insane, and that Harry would be better off not knowing his father was the Goblin, Spider-Man decided not to expose Osborn's other identity. Twice during the following years, the Goblin's personality and memory resurfaced in Osborn's mind, but each time Spider-Man managed to induce Osborn into repressing his Goblin self and returning to his normal state of mind, in which he had no memory of being the Goblin. However, when Osborn relapsed the third time, he kidnapped Parker's girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, and threw her off the George Washington Bridge. Even though Spider-Man caught her, the shock of the long, rapid fall had killed her. In a battle with Spider-Man that followed, the Goblin was accidentally impaled upon the sharp point of his own jet glider and died. Harry Osborn, Norman's son, was at that time in a mentally unstable state due to the influence of certain drugs he had been taking. He witnessed the final battle of Spider-Man and the Goblin, and thus witnessed the Goblin's demise. While no one was watching, Harry removed the Goblin's mask and costume so that the police would find Norman Osborn's body without any evidence that he was the Goblin. Harry now blamed Spider-Man for murdering his father, and sometime later he discovered that Parker was Spider-Man. Now insane, Harry became the new Green Goblin and battled Spider-Man, who defeated him. Spider-Man removed Harry's costume, and Harry was turned over to the police, who refused to believe Harry's claims to be the Green Goblin. Only Harry and Spider-Man knew that the original Goblin was dead, and the police thought Harry was too young to have been the Goblin for several years. Harry was placed under the care of psychiatrist Dr. Barton Hamilton, who successfully cured Harry of his insanity and even induced him into forgetting his life as the Goblin, and hence his knowledge of Spider-Man's secret identity. However, under hypnosis, Harry told Hamilton all about his being the Goblin, about many of the Goblin's secrets, and about Spider-Man's secret identity. Hamilton checked out Harry's stories and discovered them to be true, and even found one of the Goblin's many hideouts. Eventually, covetous of the Goblin's power, Hamilton decided to become the Green Goblin himself. He trained himself in using the Goblin's equipment and then took Harry prisoner. As the Goblin, Hamilton then invaded an underworld meeting at which Silvermane, was attempting to organize New York City's independent criminal gangs under the leadership of his Magia family. The Goblin proposed that he lead them instead. The conflict led to a three-way fight among the Goblin, Silvermane, and Spider-Man, in the course of which Silvermane was nearly killed in a fall. Harry escaped captivity and again assumed the identity of the Goblin in order to get revenge on Hamilton. After catching up with Hamilton, Harry permanently rejected his own Goblin identity. Hamilton was killed by the explosion of a bomb with which he tried to kill Harry and Spider-Man. Harry again lost the memory of being the Goblin as well as his knowledge of Spider-Man's secret identity. Today, Harry is entirely sane, and there seems no danger that he will ever become the Goblin again. An unidentified fourth person has now come into possession of the original Green Goblin's notes and equipment. This new criminal, however, calls himself the Hobgoblin. See Hobgoblin. Height, 1, 5 feet 11 inches. Weight, 185 pounds. Eyes, 1, 2, and 3, blue. Hair, 1 and 2, reddish brown. 3, brown. Powers. None of the 3 Green Goblins had superhuman powers.